Now here on Kiwi. Opinions from public address man Russell Brown, also Media 7 on the TVNZ7 network. Good morning, Russell.
Good morning.
Good morning. First up, looking at the Urewera trial, which is now underway. The footage, quite astounding footage, was released on the trial yesterday and went to the media. What do you make of the goings-on so far?
Well, firstly, I think it's just a relief to finally see all this stuff.
Yeah.
Because the intercept evidence will be familiar to some people who have know how to find things on the internet, because that was part of the original affidavit that they got the search warrants with, and these video clips have been referred to again and again. It's a relief to see them, but it is. I was thinking it's almost an anticlimax that this is finally in court. It caused such outrage at the time.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's something that happened in another era, before the global financial collapse.
Yeah. It did happen.
2007. That was a long time ago.
Another government as well,
Yeah, another government.
Yeah.
And, and it will be interesting to see. I don't think we've got any clear picture as to whether there'll be a conviction. But I think at least that video does show that they weren't just all sitting around out there holding hands, which was the kind of thing that was being claimed for a while. Clearly there was some military purpose, whether it was serious, whether it was criminal or not. I guess we'll find out. The jury will decide. Yeah,
and I guess, it's easy to look at footage and go, that looks menacing or something. I look at anyone with a gun and I'm a bit gun shy, so people look kind of menacing to me when they're brandishing, especially military-style weapons.
Yeah, same, bro. I'm suspicious of people who can hold those things.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, we'll see what happens there. Mojo Mathers and the situation with her not being provided with the tools to do her job in Parliament. Yeah,
this seems extremely clear-cut to me. She must be able to do the job she was elected to do. And it appears that parliamentary services, for which Lockwood Smith, the Speaker, is the responsible minister, did half the job. They have budgeted to, although clearly not quickly enough, to fund the equipment needed, but not the people to work the equipment, so that she can get real-time notes on parliamentary debates.
Yeah. Surely it wouldn't take a genius to know that this would blow up as a big issue if he didn't provide these tools.
Exactly. How about the day she was elected?
Yeah.
I find this completely absurd, and I think Lockwood Smith has not covered himself in glory in the way he's handled it. I thought yesterday that he almost presented himself as the injured party, because apparently the Greens had failed to observe some code of silence after their meeting with him. They're not obliged to do that. It wasn't a confidential meeting. He basically told them, you can have the equipment, but you can't have anyone to run it, so that'll have to come out of her budget, which is just completely unacceptable. That budget is for things like running offices.
Yes, yeah.
I'm shocked that they have handled this so poorly, and it's a very, very clear-cut issue. She must be able to do the job she was elected to do.
So we're looking at between $20,000 and $30,000 for someone to run the technology to make it happen. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister is earmarking $1 billion for an IRD computer upgrade.
Yeah, and there are. You talked to
Don Christie this morning.
Don Christie about that.
Yeah.
Just one more thing about before we move on from the Mojo Mathers thing. The paying for people to do the work so that she can get those notes has the extra and very considerable spin-off of also providing closed captioning for deaf viewers.
Exactly.
And I think that's just a slam dunk. I'm shocked that we don't do that.
Yeah. It's a no-brainer, really.
Yeah. It is an absolute no-brainer. For $20,000 or $30,000 a year, just do it.
Media 7 this week. What's going on?
Quite exciting one, this one. Although, I tell you what, after coming back from food camp, it was... I had to summon every last reserve of energy.
Don't talk to me about food camp.
Oh, sorry, man. Yeah. It was great, though. Internet NZ were kind enough to negotiate with the lovely people at Webstock, which is the annual web conference in Wellington, to get a couple of their people. And we had Rob Melder, who was the founder of Slashdot.
Oh, yeah.
Which was the original great geek community on the web, and gave rise to a phenomenon called the Slashdot effect, where someone on Slashdot would link to a site, and such a large crowd would go there so quickly that the target site would fall over.
Yeah.
And that's fairly common now.
And now you've got Boing Boing and
boing and
Gadget
Reddit and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Rob Melder, I was surprised how young he was, because he founded Slashdot in 1997, and also, what a great guy. He's really good value. And we were going to have a woman called Gabriella Coleman, who's a so-called digital anthropologist, but she got norovirus, which is a shame, because she's an expert on anonymous and geek protest.
Yeah.
And we did cover quite a bit of that territory with Rob and Rafi Krikorian from Twitter, who's their head of application services, who was actually he was really interesting. If you're a Twitter user, he answers quite a few questions, like, do you see my data? And one thing I found quite encouraging was your direct messages on Twitter pretty much don't even get harvested for data.
They don't?
Yep.
Thank goodness, Russell.
Yeah, big difference from, say, Gmail, where all your private emails get analysed by Google.
They do, yeah.
You do get the impression that and in some ways it's part of their brand, that Twitter are, trying not to be evil, basically. And there are some, obviously, some people disagree about the new national filtering thing, but...
Doesn't stop Homeland Security requesting DMs from Twitter,
No. Although they've got a pretty good record of resisting all that, basically say, if you want that, you go to court. But the theme was crowds and communities. And as is always the case when we schedule an online-only extra bit, the online-only bit, I think, was way better than the actual TV show. So watch the TV show tomorrow night at 9:05 on TVNZ7, and then pop over to the website, where we kind of loosened up and got a bit geekier in the half hour for the web. And that was good fun.
That sounds really good. And on to something completely different, Splore Festival this weekend.
I'm a Splore virgin.
Yeah, you?
Yes.
Wow.
Never been before. Well, in part because it was always on the same weekend as Webstock. Yeah. Where for the last 5 years at Webstock, I've been doing something, on stage or presenting the awards. Not doing that this year. Yeah. And and I'm going along with some experienced Splore goers. So, I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to it.
This will only be my second. And, of course, there's more than the music. There's all the goings-on, the artworks, there's the swimming. It's the only festival in New Zealand where you could be swimming and listening and watching the stage at the same time.
I really like that idea, actually.
It's pretty cool.
I was talking to DJ Substance, Homebrew's DJ, about how Homebrew and At Peace come to be playing two different festivals in two different parts of the country on the same day. Homebrew are playing the Homebrew Festival in Wellington, and the promoters talked. Lord knows what happened. Presumably Tom double booked them, and then we'll fly up so Tom can play as At Peace at Splore.
Oh, good on them.
And the spin-off for them is they've actually got a better slot, so they'll be on 10:30 p.m. Saturday night. I think that'll really work.
You got your costume ready?
No.
Got to have a costume on Saturday night. Come on, Russell.
Oh, no, I hate costumes. I don't go to costume parties.
That's right. We'll bring something along for you.
All right, you bring something along and I'll see if I wear it.
Thanks, Russell.
Okay, see you, mate. Bye.
Russell Brown at publicaddress.net, Media 7 Show, TVNZ 7.